Hey all, my name is Luke. I make bags from high-performance materials that would otherwise be discarded. And today I wanted to just do a quick look at straps, the difference between the straps, the types of foam that I have, thicknesses, and how I put them together. So I basically have two different shapes, one for the drop liner backpacks and another for the day packs, the drop liner duffel bags, and the 20-liter single layer packs. And the main difference is the thickness of the foam and the shape, actually. So start with the drop liner backpack straps. They come in two different varieties. One is just your standard EVA foam, and the other one is Bloom foam. So Bloom is a company that uses algae in the content to make this foam. They're mostly used in footwear, beds, so it's a little bit denser, it's a little bit heavier, not that much, but yeah, they're made for shoes mostly, but they work well for straps. I'm not the only one using them for backpack straps, and they are a little bit more sustainable because they do feature algae content, and it's a really cool company, so I encourage you guys to check it out and see what else they do. But back to the straps, I like the curved shape of straps because it allows you to kind of form to the human body a bit better. Obviously, human bodies are not just squares or blocks, so a straight strap doesn't really make that much sense to me, so I really opt for the curved shapes. And on my straps, I have a dual density. So the top sheet is made out of a denser, thinner piece of foam so that it spreads the load of that webbing strap that goes across the top there. And then the bottom sheet is made out of a softer foam. In this case, the bottom foam is called EV50 and the top is called T40. And that just refers to the density and the type of foam that's used here. So these are all closed cell foam and they're no set as well. So if you figure out how to like put your thumbnail in it or whatever and try to poke a dent into it, it won't stay, it'll bounce back. And closed cell means that it won't absorb sweat, water, so it won't act like a sponge and soak up stuff and kind of get stinky over time. So those are the drop liner backpack strap options, EVA foam, and the Bloom algae content foam. And the way I put these together, we're going to show you guys in a second here, but it's basically a sleeve that gets sewn together, flipped right side out, and then the piece of foam gets stuffed into there, and then I tack it down so it doesn't slide around. So we'll go check that out in a second, but first let's take a look at the day pack strap that I was also used for the drop liner duffel and the 20-liter single layer. It's a shorter strap, so it's not as long, and it is thinner as well. So it's the same type of foam, just thinner slices of it. And I have these die cut with this ETC fabric on the backside. This is another material that's used a lot in footwear. It's super durable, it dries really quickly, and the abrasion resistance is really good. And it's also soft, so it's not gonna ruin your sweater, or if you're walking around with your pack without a shirt on, it doesn't chafe. So it's really good material, and I'm really stoked to have it here. But yeah, the other difference is how I put these guys together. Instead of sewing a sleeve that gets stuffed with foam, these are I attach a top sheet onto it that matches whatever the bag is made from. So I get these die cut with the ETC fabric attached to it, but I have them not put the top sheet on there because I want to match whatever the backpack or the duffel bag or the travel set is made from on the top side. So I attach that myself. So this one in particular has a 1-inch Cordura webbing piece on here that acts as the duffel carry element in it. So on the drop liner duffel bags, all the straps are removable. So you got your over the shoulder strap and you have your backpack carry straps that are all unclippable or declippable, whatever you want to say, so that if you're checking it in, that's cool, light just went out. If you're checking it in, let me see if I can jiggle that back into place here. Very reliable lighting setup that we have here. You can clip these on, clip them off as you want, and carry it like a backpack or carry it like a duffel with these guys or with the over-the-shoulder strap. So let's check out how I make these, and let's get a bunch of pieces together in a bin and go over to the machines and get started. So first step is to get that guy in the middle, this dude there, back tack, other side. So now I thread on these hardware pieces here like so, get ready to top stitch. And then the same thing on the second one. Alright, so now I've got these two straps. Now I'm ready to put on the underside. And now I get this piece of ETC fabric, good side to good side, and same thing that I do with a lot of the other processes here at Truce is I start at the bottom. Now on these straps it's really important to get the spacing right because the die cut foam pieces are just the right size, so you want to make sure that it's not too loose and not too tight. And then I'll get my piece of elastic webbing in here too and back tack over this. And do a nice long back tack there because these are going to get flipped inside out or right side out, so I definitely want to make sure that there's enough strength there. Alright, so spacing looks pretty good on that. I'll just make sure that there's no elastic poking out here. And yeah, now we're good to flip them right side out. So now I'll flip these guys right side out. This is kind of a pain to do, and a lot of manufacturing facilities just have like a post with a bunch of foam padding on it to use it. They just flip them right side out. I don't have that, so I just do this by hand. Once you get access to the strap here, it's a little bit easier. So, there we go. The only thing is you've got to make sure that this is on the right side. If the elastic is on the wrong side, then it's kind of a pain in the butt. And there we go. Now this guy is ready to have foam stuffed in. So I just make sure that the top sheet is, top sheet is matching the shape of this particular strap. And what I do is I call it tacoing. I just go like this and just stick it in like that and just kind of hold it with one hand and just keep tacoing as I squeeze it in there. And eventually, it's kind of a pain, but just kind of keep sliding it in there and then keep taking this up. And then just keep working it down there. If you're doing like a batch of 50 of these, it does become quite the wrist and forearm workout for sure. So I just want to make sure to get it as far in there as it possibly will go. Boom. Cool. Spacing looks good. It's not too tight. It's not too loose. So now the only thing left to do is to tack through this spot and then tack this guy underneath this piece of elastic up here. And the only reason, there's a couple reasons why you do that, but if you don't tack through the strap and the foam, this would tend to shift around and then you'd end up with like this kind of stuff going on. So you really do want to figure out how to tack through it, even though it's pretty thick foam. So that's why we're going to go over to the walking foot machine now.
Sounds like I need to change the needle on this guy, but it still works just fine, so I'll keep this guy going for a little bit longer. So here I just make sure that, yeah, it's taut, but it's not too taut, because then it would make the strap fold over. Oh, well, pulled the thread out at the end, but as you can see, it did tack through there. It's back tacked nice and solid. It's not coming out. And same down here, I'll just thread snip these guys away. But that way, the strap is not going to shift side to side. Because I make these with a different top sheet based on what the material of the bag is made out of, I have a piece of scrap Eco Pack here that I'll just go ahead and baste on to these guys, and it's already laminated on the back side, so we're good there. So I'll just go ahead and trim around this. Alright, so now we're all trimmed up, and another good side effect of stitching these guys on there like that is that it kind of compresses the edge of the foam here a little bit, and that makes going around on the binding attachment on the binding machine a little bit better. Turn the mic back up now, and we've got our bar tacked straps, and we can go on to the next step. Alright, so now the last thing before we go over to the binding station and put binding all the way around these guys is to attach these little pieces of 3/4 inch woven elastic up here. And down here as well, just to cover that up. Just makes it look nicer. And also it gives you some place to stick the sternum strap when it's not in use. It tucks away nicely under this elastic. Okay, so now we're over on the binding station, and the way these binding attachments are made by attachment companies is you send them a piece of what you want to bind and how thick it is and exactly what materials you're using and the curves that it's going around, and they actually build this part just for you. So like just this little piece here was like $500-600, and it was not actually designed to go over foam. This was a long time ago and I wasn't really doing this yet, so I just make it work, kind of. So on this piece I want the binding to start and stop here, so I will go ahead and get it going there. And going around these tight corners is kind of tough to keep, so I usually walk it, lift it up, pull it through a little bit, and grab a pair of shears or something and just kind of poke it in there. And make sure that we're getting all the way over, and also that we're not catching this strap in there, because that would be bad. And another tough bit is going around this bottom corners because it's a pretty tight radius. So just take it slow. And here, because of the curve of the strap, we just have to kind of pull this stuff out of the way. And as we get close to where we started, just trim that off there. and go off the end. And then without even cutting anything, so we're gonna start and stop it on this side here. Alright, so now I'm over at the hot knife and extraction fan station, which you can hear running. And what I'm going to do is just melt the ends here so that it makes a nice clean edge. So this is kind of less of a science and more of a technique-y thing, I guess. So I use the hot knife to melt it down, and then I'll use this metal base to make it as smooth as possible. So while it's molten, basically, I can just kind of rub it. And end up with a clean edge here.
So yeah, that was a quick look at how I make the straps here at Truce. A drop liner strap that is stuffed with a pretty thick curved foam, dual density foam piece, and then the day pack strap that's also used on the duffel bags that I bind around the entire circumference of it, and is a little bit lighter weight, but you know, if you're not carrying as much as you would with a drop liner, which is really the premium backpack anyway, this works well. I think this drop liner style straps would be a bit overkill on a day pack. They're a little long, so I think these day pack straps that also go on the 20 liter and the duffel work well. So that might have been a little repetitive, but hopefully it was enjoyable. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.